If I were single now and my Social Security check was $1,000 a month, where would I retire today? One of my members asked me this question: Dan, where would you retire today if you were single and wanted a stationary life on $1,000 per month? So I've been thinking about that, and I will share it with you in this video today. My name is Dan. I left the United States 18 years ago, and I've lived in 73 countries so far. I write reports about the best places to live in paradise for pennies. So in this video, I'll share where I would retire on $1,000 per month if I were single. I would retire in Southeast Asia for reasons I will now explain. But some of you want to know where I would retire in Latin America or Europe. So I will share that after I discuss Southeast Asia. I will show you video I took with my feet on the ground in each place as I describe it. I've picked these places to retire based on 4 simple criteria: affordability, acceptance by locals, and a high quality of life. Quality of life means for me feeling good about my life while I'm living there. I must also feel safe, enjoy my day-to-day life, and feel welcome by the locals. After I share my 4 favorite countries in Southeast Asia and why, I'll share which one is my favorite. My favorite is the one I would move to today and live a stationary life on $1,000 per month if I were single. I will share my favorite place last. The last place is what I would actually do today as a single trying to stay on $1,000 per month. Okay, first up is Cambodia. 𝐶𝐸𝐵 𝐸 Cambodia has a feeling of serenity that's as strong as anywhere in the world that I've ever been. That's at least in part because 𝐶𝐸𝐵 𝐸 is adjacent to the largest spiritual temple grounds in the world, Angkor Wat, which covers 400 acres. Satellite imagery of Angkor Wat indicates that it may have been the most populated city in the world in the 13th century when it began its slow decline and was almost completely abandoned in the 15th century AD. Since Angkor Wat was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1992, 𝐶𝐸𝐵 𝐸 has steadily flourished as tourists arrive from all over the world. The central area of 𝐶𝐸𝐵 𝐸 now has an assortment of international restaurants, 5-star hotels that remain successful because of the international tourism. Yet the cost of living has remained relatively stable because 𝐶𝐸𝐵 𝐸 has not yet been flooded with Western retirees or digital nomads. There are some long-stay expats, but not enough to force prices up as quickly as other areas of Southeast Asia. There are still decent furnished apartments within walking distance of the central area of 𝐶𝐸𝐵 𝐸, starting at around $250 per month. But don't expect to find that on Airbnb. Book a cheap hotel in the central area and walk through the neighborhoods of interest to find long-term landlords with better prices. I cover how to do that in my Finding Apartments report. I could settle long-term in 𝐶𝐸𝐵 𝐸 and eat mostly in local restaurants and shop in the public market to keep my personal combined grocery and restaurant bill down to about $300 per month. With utilities, incidentals, and entertainment of around $250 per month, it would cost me around $800 per month to live in 𝐶𝐸𝐵 𝐸 with a more local lifestyle. Everything I would need would be walkable from the central area. In this analysis, for all countries mentioned, I'm assuming I would have a significant amount of cash available for unexpected expenses and medical emergencies. I cover how I would do that analysis in another report, the 2 biggest risks of retiring early for cheap overseas, link provided. In Cambodia, retirees can get a 1-year renewable visa for about $300. At this time, that visa has no minimum monthly pension requirement. So for many retirees, they come to Cambodia because of the easy visa, and they stay for the stunning landscapes, the deep cultural experience, the low cost of living, and the sincere local smiles. While in Cambodia, high-energy city lovers should also explore the capital, Phnom Penh. Phnom Penh has a crazy nightlife, rooftop happy hours, and a few walking streets, but it's not as over-the-top crazy like Bangkok. But don't expect 𝐂𝐴𝐓 𝐎𝐅 prices in Phnom Penh. Cambodia also has the laid-back rural city of Battambang with a slightly lower cost of living, the riverside city of 𝗵𝗡, and the chill beach city of 𝗓𝗡. But my favorite is still 𝐶𝐴𝐓 𝐎�. Most people who move overseas will not be able to maintain the lower budget that I could. They will spend significantly more per month on accommodations, eating foreign foods, drinking foreign adult beverages, so don't assume you can keep this sort of budget. You must do an exploratory visit here in order to determine your budget based on your lifestyle needs. More typical singles living in 𝐶𝐴𝐓 𝐎� range from about $800 to $2,000 per month. In summary, I would pick Cambodia if I was unwilling to take the risk of driving a scooter and I wanted an annual visa that I could get for $300 because I was unwilling to do any visa runs. 𝐶𝐴𝐓 𝐎� would be great since everything in the center is walkable and it's a lovely, serene environment. Okay, next up would be the Philippines. I've spent almost 2 years touring all over the Philippines. I can say without reservation that if you're interested in exploring remote white sand beaches, floral coral reefs, colorful fish, and gorgeous waterfalls, the Philippines will be your personal heaven. The Philippines is also famous for the beautiful, friendly people who live there. And many single Westerners go to the Philippines to find love during their retirement years. The hard part about the Philippines would be picking where to live. There's so many places we have been and loved. I would want to be in a city on the beach, but not a white sand beach, just a normal beach. The cities on white sand beaches are few and far between and are often outside the budget range of $1,000 a month now for single people. I would also want to be in a city that had great malls, a great nightlife, and some reasonable rents, and a well-stocked public market with reasonable prices. I would want a few expat friends around, but not a city full of expats. That would create too much competition for dating and would eventually push prices up. When I think about all of these requirements for the Philippines, I think Rojas City would be great. It feels like a smaller city, but there's enough people, 180,000, to keep it interesting living there. It has a great mall, great public market, hospitals, great nightlife, and many friendly, smiling people. The Philippines is generally not known for having a large selection of high-quality international restaurant choices, other than maybe Metro Makati. But that doesn't bother me because I do most of my own cooking when I'm living in the Philippines. Plus, the public market in Rojas City is well stocked with fair-priced fresh groceries. There are still furnished apartments in Rojas starting at around $300 per month. Like before, I would find one exploring neighborhoods and looking for rental signs and talking to locals. I would stay away from internet-connected landlords in order to find long-term, lower rent prices. I would cook mostly at home and shop in the public market to keep my personal combined grocery and restaurant bill down to around $250 per month. Rojas is a little spread out, so I would buy a used scooter and a helmet for around $1,500. Utilities, incidentals, entertainments, and a scooter would cost around $300 per month. So my recurring monthly budget would cost me around $850 per month to live in Rojas City with a more local lifestyle as a single. You must do an exploratory visit in order to determine what your budget would be based on your lifestyle and needs. More typical budgets for singles living in Rojas range from about $800 to $2,000 a month. As mentioned above, I would have a significant amount of cash available for unexpected expenses and medical emergencies. When arriving in the Philippines, passport holders from many countries are issued a 30-day visa exemption and visa extensions for up to 36 months. So many expats just choose to extend their visa every 30 days until they are asked to leave, which can be as long as 36 months. Then they'll just do a visa run to a nearby country for a few days, fly back to the Philippines, and start the whole process over again. While in the Philippines, Cooler weather lovers should check out the mountain city of Baguio. White sand beach lovers should check out 𝗥𝐻𝐻 or Porto Galera. And big city lovers should check out Metro Makati. And people looking for a soft landing with more expats should check out Dumaguete. In summary, I would pick the Philippines if I wanted to be around locals that speak English, I knew how to cook, and I was willing to spend a few hours every month in the immigration office doing visa extensions. I would pick Rojas City if I was willing to drive a scooter. Before I describe the next country I would pick, I want you to know that there are hundreds of problems and headaches that you can avoid if you listen to someone like me that has been doing this for 18 years. In fact, I have a Retire Overseas course and hundreds of reports that can help you achieve a soft landing overseas. Video displayed on screen at the end of this video. Okay, Thailand. Thailand has so many great places to live, it would be hard to pick a favorite. Since I would prefer to be near beautiful beaches without breaking the bank, I would choose the beautiful island of Koh Phangan. Koh Phangan's a less developed island, just a short ferry ride away from the island of Koh Samui. It has a cute little walkable city area near the public market and great night market to try all of the reasonably priced local foods. The fun stuff to do on Koh Phangan is spread out along the west side of the island, so I would need a scooter to enjoy it all. I would buy a used scooter and a helmet for about 1,500 bucks. There are still furnished apartments available on the west side of Koh Phangan, starting at around 300 per month. Like before, I would find one by exploring neighborhoods and looking for rental signs and talking to locals. I would avoid internet-connected landlords to find a long-term apartment with lower rents. I would cook about half of my meals at home by shopping in the public market and would be able to keep my combined grocery and restaurant bill down to about 300 per month. Utilities, incidentals, entertainment, and scooter maintenance would cost around 300 per month, so my recurring monthly budget would be around 900 per month to live in Koh Phangan Island. You must do an exploratory visit to determine what your budget would be based on your lifestyle and needs. More typical budgets for singles living in Koh Phangan range from about $1,000 to $2,000 per month. I would have a significant amount of cash available for unexpected expenses and medical emergencies. In Thailand, individuals age 50 and above can obtain renewable retirement visas by depositing around $25,000 in a Thai bank or proving they have around $2,000 per month in pension and completing other requirements. For retirees looking for high energy, big city with amazing shopping, nightlife, restaurants, consider Bangkok. For mountain lovers, check out Chiang Mai. And for expats looking for a soft landing with lots of expats to hang out with, consider Jomtien, Thailand. In summary, I would choose Thailand if I had either $25K to deposit in a Thai bank or could prove a $2,000 US monthly pension. So I would pick Koh Phangan Island because it has the peaceful island feel that I love in Thailand with beautiful beaches, but it's not too crowded or expensive like other islands. Now it's time to explain what I would do if I were single today and wanted to maintain a tight budget of $1,000 per month. Then I'll explain my personal approach and reasons for considering retirement in Latin America or Europe. Today's tip: never overstay any visa anywhere in the world. Always arrange your exits a day or two before you are required to leave. Countries are beginning to share immigration data with each other. There could be a day when your overstay is an internationally shared blemish on your travel record. This could eventually limit your choices as you travel the world. Okay, Vietnam. Right now, my personal favorite in the world is Vietnam. Deciding to retire in Vietnam would require a visa run every 90 days. Each visa run would give me 90 days to stay in Vietnam. I would spend one of those 90-day visas in Dalat during 3 months of high season in Nha Trang, a beach city. Once high season in Nha Trang was over, I would spend the following 3 90-day visas in Nha Trang, when the beaches are not as crowded with tourists. I would pick Vietnam because I've been slow traveling the world for 18 years. I would want to live somewhere that had a really easy life and everything was walkable and nearby, so I wouldn't even need a scooter. I would eat delicious, healthy, local food for $1.50 per meal. About once per week, I would eat in the expensive international restaurants serving one of my favorite comfort foods from home for $6 to $8 per meal. Both cities have reasonably priced gyms that I could pay only for the months I was there. By living in the cool mountain of 𝗏 during the warmer parts of the year, I would also avoid paying for the AC at the beaches in high season. Both 𝗏 and Nha Trang will have furnished small apartments available starting at around $300 per month today. I drink only coffee at home for breakfast, so 2 local meals per day at $2 per meal would cost me around $120 per month. And one expensive international meal per week at $10 each, that would cost another $40 per month. Throw in some fresh fruits and vegetables from the public market for snacking, I would spend a total of $200 per month for groceries and restaurants. Utilities, incidentals, and entertainment would run another $250 per month, so my recurring monthly budget would cost me around $750 per month to live in Vietnam as a single person. So my annual costs in today's dollars for 12 months at $750 per month would be $9,000 per year. But that does not include 4 visa runs per year. I would use my visa runs to visit some of my other favorite parts of Southeast Asia. By booking in advance, my visa run flights, round trip from Vietnam to Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, or the Philippines would average around $100 per flight per visa run round trip. A cheap hotel during each visa run at $30 per night for 6 nights would be $180, and food would cost around $15 per day. My return visa fee to Vietnam would be $25 US, so I would spend about $500 per visa run. At 4 visa runs per year, that would cost an additional $2,000 per year. Add that $2,000 for visa runs to my $9,000 per year cost of living, and my annual cost of living would be around $11,000 per year. So it would cost me about $1,000 per month, including visa runs, to live in Vietnam. Plus, I wouldn't need to have any money in foreign banks, so I would avoid many of the problems upsetting other expats overseas. And I wouldn't have to report any foreign bank accounts to my home country, the US, because I don't have any. Also, I would not have to jump through all the reporting and renewal hoops to keep a retirement visa that some of the other countries require. Yet these plans all require having access to significant savings to cover me in the event of unexpected emergencies or medical expenses. Okay, now I'll explain what I would do personally and why if I wanted to retire in Latin America or Europe. Then I'll explain what to double check before booking flights to any of these countries. Okay, Europe. I know some of you want to spend time exploring various parts of Europe. Then it would not make sense to take a base in Southeast Asia. The expense and time of these long flights would be prohibitive for many of you. In that case, I would take my base in Tirana, Albania. I could take short flights and ferries to various parts of Europe as money and my resources permitted. I would also consider buying a small van to tour around Europe. I could sleep some nights in the van to save money and get up every morning and go to one of the gyms that have locations all over Europe. I would also sublet my apartment in Tirana to help cover my Tirana expenses at the time I was exploring Europe. The cost of this lifestyle would vary greatly, so it would be hard to estimate. But I think as a single, I could do it for about $1,500 to $2,500 per month in the months I was exploring Europe on the cheap, and around $1,200 per month in the months I was living in Tirana as a single person. All right, Latin America. If I wanted to have short flights to North America and be in the same time zone, I would probably stay in Antigua or Tlalpan, Guatemala for most of the year. The cost of living there would start around $1,200 per month for me and starting around $1,600 per month for other single expats who are living more like a Western expat. Antigua and Tlalpan are 2 of my favorite places in Latin America. The colonial era center of Antigua, Guatemala is one of my favorite areas in all of Latin America, and it's not far from the USA or Mexico. Okay, before you fly, visa and entry rules change all the time. So make sure to check the embassy in your home country for any country you want to visit. That is the embassy for whatever country you want to visit that's located in your home country. That embassy's webpage will explain what passport holders from your country need to obtain entry. Do not trust ChatGPT or the other third parties because the rules change all the time. Also, check to see if that country requires an electronic travel authorization or ETA. The ETA is completely different from a visa, and the ETA is being required by many countries these days. Okay, now watch the video appearing in the upper left-hand corner of the screen to know all of the resources we have to help you retire overseas. Time membership. Click the video on screen now to find out more.